And we might be on our way to getting out of this group stage here. It's a lovely goal.
Oh, yes!
Hello and welcome back to another episode as part of the Pacific Pursuit, and welcome to the World Cup. It's the final trophy we have to win here as part of the Pacific Pursuit. We're going to get our group stage underway today. We have 2 games coming up, potentially a third depending on how these first 2 games go. We have Cameroon and Australia in those first 2, and then we have Ukraine after, who we won't unfortunately get to see really, because I would like to think we can get 6 points out of 6 from these opening games. It looks like if we take a look at them, Shakhtar are not the top team anymore. I don't know what's going on in their first division. If we go and take a look, the last few winners, Shakhtar have not won it in the last 5 years. Dnipro have managed to rise to the top, which is interesting. But I do remember they used to be quite good. But some top players they have, as you can see here. There's no Shevchenko, which is a shame really. But what can you do? We're going to get into these games. Cameroon obviously beat Brazil in the 2022 World Cup, which hopefully we don't repeat that result here. And then Australia, former nation, we have managed in major club Melbourne victory, as you can see there. And it's going to be a very, very good day. Good to get into this World Cup action, the World Cup spirit. I'm looking forward to this. The preparations have been interesting, to say the least. A 4-0 loss to Belgium, but then a 5-0 win against Austria. A tale of it was just completely different in between those 2 games. The final squad is here. There is a few players you'll remember. Davidson, who was a kind of a key player back in the day, he did get an ACL injury this season, and I didn't think it was reasonable to pick him. We do have Wanderson, who is very capable, and they did used to compete for those spots, and he does get the nod in this squad. Maybe could have come with us, but he isn't with us, and there isn't really anyone else of note. There is players who have returned. Beto, Bossei, Ney have all returned. Bossei was there. It was Tepe actually who hadn't returned. We do have the likes of Ney, as I said, who's back, a very capable player. Beto as well in at centre back, the Real Madrid defender there, and a very interesting selection of Gabriel da Silva. Since he moved to Brighton, has done very, very well, and he does make this squad. Former Sao Paulo player. Let's get straight into it. It's time to hopefully win the World Cup with Brazil starting in the Moses Mabhida Stadium in South Africa against Cameroon. So the team for this game against Cameroon: Mateus in goal, backline of Di Carvalho, Gakoa, Beto and Sergeant Tim. We've got Bossei, Ney, Wanderson in the middle, Endrick on the left, Estival on the right, and Jose Roberto up top. Kick-off here in this game against Cameroon. Very, very excited to get underway here in this group stage, Group H, and 6 points from our opening 2 games would surely mean we get through to the next round, into that round of 6. I think it's a round of 32 actually, so it might have to be a three-parter in one of the upcoming episodes. I don't really know, we'll have to see. Here's Wanderson on the ball, it plays to Endrick, and Endrick tries to find Jose Roberto, and he does find him, Jose Roberto, for 1-0, and he's not able to convert in the end. As we said, those 2 preparation games were very interesting. We actually played the rotated team in that game against Austria, and then the game against Belgium where we lost 4-0, we did play the main team. I don't think it's a sign of things to be concerned about. I didn't manage them, I handed it over to the assistant manager, so I could look over a few things in preparation for this, but as I said, I don't think it's too much to worry about. And when we play one of those big teams, maybe it will be, but we'll have to see. I think we can beat them and win this whole thing. Jose Roberto with that header, but I think he might have just been offside there. As we've said, the quality in this team is close to perfect. You're always going to have one player who misses out, like Davidson in this case, but outside of that, Wanderson, a very capable player. We brought in Gabriel da Silva, who I think could be a very interesting kind of prospect in this team. I definitely think he could get a few games, and one thing that is important is that we get these 6 points so that in the last game we can actually go and rotate the whole team, and players like Gabriel da Silva can get in. I think he got his debut against Austria. I'm not sure if he scored. Did he score? He didn't score, but he got his first cap or his second cap. I think he played both of the games actually, and was subbed on in the first one against Belgium. So it's definitely interesting that he's in this team, and it's nice to get familiarise ourselves with our former player once again in this game here. 1.35 XG generated, but nothing scored as of yet. This might be the first chance to do it. It's Beto with a header, and we might be on our way to getting out of this group stage here. It's a lovely goal from Beto to make it 1-0 here. He's already been threatening. He returns to the squad and he makes it 1-0 from that corner. It's just a lovely ball into the near post from Esteval, and we are going to get what would be a very, very good opening 3 points of this group stage. Here's Yakoa on the ball. He's going to go out wide here. Now Yakoa does get the nod over Beraldo. I think we have to move away a little bit from those more experienced players. Yankuto we've dropped as well. Well, not dropped, but opted for Sergeant Tim, which I think is a very reasonable decision as we get our second goal here. The assist maker gets a goal, Esteval, for 2-0. It's going to go down as an own goal. I think it might have killed all the way around, but I guess not. Yeah, Beraldo, Yankuto may not be in this team, but I think it's reasonable. No Rodrigo anymore either. It's a reasonable decision to make. We can go and sub some of these players out now. Some of them are quite tired already. So Beraldo, that's a good position for him to come in there where he has in the midfield. I'm going to bring on Tepe on for Ney. Tepe obviously returning to the squad as well, and I think it makes sense to do that. Endrick off, he's had a bit of a quiet game. Paulo Enrique on to that left side, another very, very capable player who we can introduce into that attack. It's been an interesting game for Jose Roberto. He could get his goal here if we can work this ball into the box. There's Sergeant Tim into Bossy, where can he go? He goes to Gakko at the back, over to his left side, and nothing comes from that. In the end, it is a draw in the other game by the looks of it. Tepe is going to play this ball in into Gakko. He can't get there. Beto can win his header. He's not able to, and it falls out to Enrique. Enrique, a very, very capable player. He has a claim to get into the starting team, really, but he's not in it as of right now, as Enrique does find himself on the ball here. Can he find Jose Roberto? He's had a pretty quiet game by his standards, but Aldo in behind for Paulo Enrique. Can he pull it back? He plays it into the middle instead, and Wanderson scores. It's 3-0 here in this game. Absolutely incredible display coming out of this second half, and that's it's going to be big. The goal difference is already sorted for us by the looks of it, with the amount of goals that we got in this second half. It's been a very, very dominant display, and I just think it was a matter of time before we did start to get those goals. We're approaching the 66-minute mark. Towards the 70-minute mark, I think it's good time to go and make some more changes. Lucas into the middle. He doesn't get loads of minutes, but he probably should get more. We'll bring him into that deep line playmaker role, and then we have one more change. I wouldn't bring on Yankuto Renan in this game here. I think the win is secure. We've got Zangrandi, who did play in the last game. He is quite a good player. Jackson as well. I think Jackson and Loran probably in the next game, if we need to get a goal, we'll bring him on. I think we bring on De Silva here. Jose Roberto, I'm sure will go and get involved, but we've brought on some players who maybe won't get loads of minutes in the other games as much as some of the others, the likes of Loran and Jackson. We bring in De Silva here, and also Lucas into the middle. There's so many players who we have in this squad who are constantly present, but we just can't play all of them. It's as simple as that, really. What can you do? Here is Sergeant Tim on the ball. He's obviously done very well to get into this team at this point, and he's had a decent game, very solid performance down that right side. Esteval plays it to Paulo Enrique for 4-0, and that is another incredible goal from this Brazil team. They're all running over to the Brazilian fans. It's Paulo Enrique. It's 4 different goal scorers here in this game, and that is a very, very good change. I'm glad he's been able to get a goal. Esteval, 2 goals and assist. It won't go down as an Esteval goal, but the full-time whistle goes, and that is a big 3 points to open up our World Cup campaign. And no changes for this team against Australia. Mateus in goal, backline of Di Carvalho, Gakoa, Beto and Sergeant Tim, Bossei, Ney, Wanderson in the middle. We've got Hendrick on the left, Esteval on the right, and Jose Roberto up top. Kick-off here in this game against Australia. We are in the blue kit. They're very nice blue kit, actually. I think Brazil are very, very good with these kind of vibrant kits, and hopefully we can go and get a win in it and get the 6 points on the board and get straight through to the round of 32. Jose Roberto, it's as simple as that. He may not have shown up in the last game, but I'm telling you, I said before the tournament and I'll say it again, this guy is going to be the star, man. He is absolutely incredible. I wish I could manage him at a club level because he's just a natural goal scorer. I think he's got the stature, the ability on the ball, and just the overall, killer instinct, the finishing qualities, and that's what leads him to get the goals that he does. And he's scored this many under my management here in the Brazilian national team. 1-0 up inside 10 minutes, and this is very good for us because we're going to qualify. We're going to be able to rest some of the boys in the next game, and overall it's just going to put us in a very good position going into that next game. Here's Jose Roberto once again, 2-0 here, 11 minutes, and it's Jose Roberto now on for his hat-trick here in the rest of the game. Let's take a look at some of the other groups. So South Africa, they're doing very well actually. Their ranking is quite high if I'm not mistaken, and they do have this World Cup. They must have been preparing quite well. They're 29th, which is one of the best positions they've been in for quite some time. Which is kind of good to see, I guess. One of the African teams doing very, very well, and we are obviously playing in South Africa for this World Cup, a repeat of the 2010 World Cup. If we're going to take a look, is there any teams of note on kind of 0 points, 1 point? South Korea on 1. Estival there hits the post, unlucky to not get a goal there. This is what I'm telling you about some of the road teams who qualify now because of the 48. You've got Zambia who are there. Thailand managed to qualify. If we're going to take a look, is there anyone else of note? Qatar qualify without hosting. They've got the Democratic Republic of Congo who are also there. China managed to qualify. We've got Mali, Panama, who obviously did qualify in 2018 but have qualified again here now because of those extension of the spots available. 16 new teams I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. It was 4 groups of 8 previously, and the top 2 went through via to make a round of 16. Now we would have, I don't know, do we qualify straight away? I'm not too sure actually. I don't know if the third place teams qualify, and I'm not too sure how it works really. I would assume everyone plays, but if it's a round of 32, you would need, how many groups is there? So there's 16 groups, so yeah, it is just the top 2, and then there's 32 teams, so we could play a big team coming up in this next round, but we'll have to see. I don't know if it's seeded or anything. We'll have to see. We will have to see. Let's get through this game here and the final game. Hendrick with a header, and that's over the bar in the end. Is there any players from when we used to manage whom we can recognise? Does not look like it. There's Kowal who's there. It's Garang Kowal, who was he was with the Central Coast Mariners back in the day, but I don't think he was ever there when we were there. He's doing very, very well for himself though. But on that right side, I think he's being pocketed a little bit by Di Cavallo. Doesn't look like there's anyone else of note who we formerly used to manage. But in this game here, very, very good display. Can't really say too much more about it. We have to go and get the result and make some early changes as well. I think will be an important thing. There is some players who didn't come off in that last game who, if we get it right, everyone will be rested. I think if you sort it out right and you manage it right, everyone can get it's a weird one really, because you want everyone to play the least amount of minutes, so in the minutes that they do play, they play their best football. But it's a World Cup and all these boys will want to play as much as possible, but I think if we want to have a good chance of winning, we need to balance out the minutes, not for the sake of playing people, but for the sake of making sure when those players are on, we're playing at the very best quality. And I think, as I've said many, many times, this team, the strength and depth that they have is very, very important. The players that we have the option to bring on, the quality they have is so good and so vital in balancing this team and creating a team that is, prepared to go on and be rotated and go into a position to go and challenge for this World Cup. And I think we will be definitely challengers for this World Cup. Zangrandi can come on. I think he might go. We won't put him in at right back. Di Cavallo will swap out for Beraldo once again. He does struggle a bit with the stamina, and we don't have too much depth on that side. I do want to bring Jackson into the mix here, so I'm going to bring him in that advanced position there. I want to bring Loran on for Estival. He's not on a hat-trick. It's Jose Roberto who does have the 2 goals here in this game. And then finally, who do we bring on? Boss E, I think, has got to come off. We'll bring on Tepe into the middle there and stick with those changes. No signs of Robert Renan and Yankuto just yet. I think they will be rotated for the next game, but Robert Renan has picked up a bit of an injury, so we need to watch with that. But those 5 changes are made there. Don't think it's something they often do in the World Cup, but we have gone and done it. And why not really? We bring on 5 changes, bring off 5 players so they can celebrate on the bench, and overall just get some good vibes going in the camp. Here's Sergeant Tim playing a ball into the middle. Is it going to go into the hands of the keeper? It's punched out. It falls out to Zangrandi here, who can look to go and progress this ball. He is playing in a midfield position. I couldn't tell you which position this guy plays in, by the way. He plays everywhere. He plays right back and striker. When have you seen a player like that? But, you know, Manchester United, very, very good player. 3 goals, so I would assume he plays in a bit of a deeper position. I can understand if he played a right back and midfielder. You see that quite often in kind of football, most notably kind of like Reece James plays there quite often in both positions, and there's just different players like that. It's like the inverted role, you know, the inverted wing backs. They're basically a midfielder when they do go and play in that position, so it's understandable that right backs and the wing backs do have the qualities of a midfielder. Jackson with an effort from range, he's got to be doing a little bit better there, but in this game here, the score 2-0, 2 goals inside 12 minutes is going to be the difference by the looks of it, unless we can go and get one more. You know, just got the job done nice and early, and we've been, you know, threatening for the most part of this game, but it's just been a pretty quiet game for us, and I'd rather that, to be honest. I'd rather no one get injured, everyone's good going into the next games coming up. Obviously we have this game against Ukraine, which we should be qualified for. We can go and check as Australia do get a consolation goal, and there is still a bit of time for them to go and get an equaliser. You know, the game feels like it's much more, we've got them much further ahead than we have really, but we definitely haven't. Even if we have been quite threatening, the score is still only 2-1 here in this game, but I don't think it's a very good representation of the game. By the way, let's have a look at this. 6-5. Argentina went 6-1 up by half time, and Austria scored 4 goals in that second half to put it back to 6-5. Couldn't care less really. The full time whistle goes, and we are through to the next round of the World Cup. So once again, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy that video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'll leave you this little tune, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the next rounds of the World Cup. Thank you, bye.